week 12 of Hudepohl's TV King of Bowling. I'm Tom Varrato. Well, we have arrived. We're at the championship, and we're at the Pinhouse Lanes in St. Bernard. And in any kind of tournament, Bo Hudepohl, when you get this far, the cream of the crop always rises to the top.
That's correct. And yesterday, the competition was great, and they're here today.
The qualifying was yesterday, and today we have our top four. And in our first match, Dave Newrath, we see one of the young Lions in Greg Lothian against one of the vets in Bill Heflin. First, the Lion, Greg Lothian.
That's right. Greg gave us a lot of interesting shots early on in the year, going through competitors like they weren't even there. His job is to knock down pins, and he does his job well.
Greg was a four-time king this year, the most of any of them on the TV King, and he was knocked off by Mr. Bill Heflin. And we're going to see the big lefty today.
Maybe there'll be a little getting back at him in the first match, but this will make Bill's 34th appearance on the show, and if experience pays off, we'll see what happens.
That's the first in 3 games today on Hudepohl's TV King of Bowling, and for the next hour, we will crown a king for 1986. Hudepohl's TV King of Bowling. Come back and join us.
Hudepohl, King of Bowling. Brought to you by the Hudepohl Brewing Company, America's great small brewery.
One of the great traditions of Cincinnati.
On to watch the championship week of Hudepohl's TV King of Bowling right here on Channel 5. I'm Tom Varrato along with Dave Newrath and Bo Hudepohl. The first step on the way to the King of 1986 right here, Greg Lothian against Bill Heflin. Lothian's followers cheering on to 10 pins down. Greg Lothian, as I mentioned earlier, a 4-time king this year, the only 4-time king we've had in the past couple years, and this man right here, Bill Heflin, was the man who dethroned him back in week 8 at LaRue Lanes in Highland Heights, Kentucky. Heflin's first ball in the championship week, leaving week 3 pins, Dave.
Going right straight through the heart, leaving the 4, 7, and the 8. A bad shot for Bill to open the show with. Greg, the other way, played the ball a little wide, went for the light shaker, and came away with a strike. Bill's got a little bit of a tough spare here. See if he can handle it.
So Heflin shows that nothing's too tough when you get to this far into the season, week 12. Bo Hudepohl, we have 4 people competing today, but the numbers who competed yesterday in the qualifying, a tribute goes to them too.
It certainly does. The bowlers bowled very well yesterday, and of course only 4 can proceed to the TV show. Our standby, Tim Sharp, I think this is the 3rd year that he was our standby. Wasn't able to be here today, so we have Ron Pollard, who is actually sitting in for Tim.
Heflin fills it with a strike in the second. That we mentioned 4 today, 4 out of 31 men, and 1 woman who's the queen out of 10 women.
That's correct. Cindy Reckel ended up being our queen this year.
And we'll meet her a little bit later on in the show. Greg Lothian up in the second frame. 22-year-old Lothian, sales manager over at Ball Shops, and he leaves a solid 10-pin.
Greg on that shot, again, just a little bit light. Throwing the ball just a wee bit hard to open the show with. I'm sure he'll get the ball speed down a little bit and therefore pick up a little more finish on the back end. Bill striking in the second frame now has the advantage.
Takes out the 10-pin spare, something some of the bowlers have been missing the past couple of weeks. So comes to mind Dave Robin Burris. Had some difficulties in weeks 10 and 11 trying to knock down those, or 9 and 10 trying to knock down those 10-pin spares.
Well, we've said it before. A lot of times you work continually on the strike ball, and a lot of young players, they throw the first ball and then hit the reset, hit the reset. Don't do it. Practice your spares each and every time.
A little bit of help, Dave, but at this stage of the game, you'll take any help you can get.
That's the kind of shot you want to get. He did an excellent shot. Look at that. Excellent position at the foul line, and you're going to see how it pays off right here. Head pin, center your screen, going to the wall. Even gets blocked out by the 5, and then the 6 pin takes care of the 10. That's the way to do it.
Big Bill, the South. 51-year-old tech rep from Reading, Ohio. And once again, a little bit light with those pins, Dave.
Well, the right-hander's 2-4-5. Bill comes up with the 3-5-6. There you take a look at our score. With a spare here, we're all tied up, but the advantage of the strike going to Mr. Lothian.
Once again, Heflin with a not too easy spare. Takes it down. Now, as we mentioned earlier in the year, Heflin and Lothian met, with Heflin winning, eventually becoming king that week. He lost the kingship the following week, though. And we've seen him, I believe you said at the top of the show, 34 times over the years on the TV King.
We're gonna start using him for the peacock.
He always gives us a show, too. Little light, but he'll take it again, Dave.
We talk about our textbook strikes. That was definitely not one of them. But the slow toppling action, as we're going to watch it here, he trusts his ball. It's going to be a little light again, but the head pin again. Center your screen does the damage. See it coming off the wall, kicks into the 6 pin, 6 into the 5, and then twirls around and gets the 10. Got to give the 6 pin or head pin a raise on that one. It's working overtime.
Working time and a half. Here's Lothian, the 4th of 4 qualifiers. 10 in the pit in the 4th frame. 3 strikes in his first 4. I mentioned Lothian was the 4th of 4 qualifying with a 13-24 pinfall. But we're rolling on 9 and 10 today. Lanes 9 and 10 here at the Pin House. Lothian did not roll on those lanes yesterday, Dave. Will it be a factor today, do you think?
You never know, Tom. The format yesterday, Bo, you might want to allude to that a little bit. The players do cross the house. How many were they skipping yesterday?
They're skipping 2 pairs in between.
That gives the players a broad range of the feeling of the house from side to side, and missing 1 pair really probably wouldn't hurt you that bad.
As is evidenced by his 4 strikes in 5 frames.
Let's take a look at this shot. This is what you know you're doing things right when this happens. The 3 pin's going to go straight back, pushes the 6 into the gutter, and it's got enough pizzazz on it to take the 10 out. Bill Heflin's got to get going.
When called upon to do it, the vet comes through. The veteran of 18 years, Bill Heflin, as we mentioned before, when Hef was rolling back on week 9 at LaRue Lanes, which was the day before St. Patrick's Day, his family was expecting those twins, the twins you saw earlier in the show, and no doubt they will be bowlers, maybe even left-handed bowlers, Dave.
You never know. Right now, the man you're looking at is 10 pins behind. Leaving a tough shot there with a 7 pin, but going into his 6th frame, merely 10 pins, and that's less than 1 frame, and we're going to have a match all the way through today's telecast, I'm sure.
Bo escalated prize winnings today, and I'll tell you what, it ain't hay, as they say.
That's for sure. Winner today is going to get $1,800, $900 to 2nd, $750 to 3rd, and $500 to 4th.
Not too dusty for getting up on a Sunday morning and bowling. Greg Lothian now up in the 6th frame. Lothian we haven't seen since week number 8, after he lost the kingship for the first time in 4 weeks. But tell you what, I'd like to have this 22-year-old's future in bowling, not only here, but possibly on a national level, Dave.
The situation here, if he strikes right now, gives him 11 pins plus a 10-pin advantage for the strike, trusting the ball, going a little bit light, leaving the 2 pin. An easy spare, but that's where you want to be. You either want to be just a little bit light into the pocket or flush, because that's normally what you're going to shoot, 1 pin spare, and we've talked about 1 pin spares, haven't we, Bo?
We sure have, and you have to practice in order to be able to execute that kind of a shot all the time.
Part of the crowd here at Pin House Lanes in St. Bernard, you know, this is our 2nd stop in the last 2 years here. We're here the middle of last year, and coincidentally, Greg Lothian became king for the first and only time last year, beating another young lion of Cincinnati, Greg Carpenter, and then taking out Tucky Perez in the championship, taking Perez's championship away after 3 weeks with a 269 to 248 win. Lothian on track for that right now. Possible disaster turning into much pleasure, Dave.
Greg Lothian easing up just a little bit on that shot. The ball runs high. Let's look at it here. This is going to take the head pin straight back, push the 3 pin to the wall. There you see it. Now it gets a little help from the 5. The 5 pushes the 10 out. Things are going right when that happens.
We saw Bill Heflin make 2 challenging spares thus far, but this, Dave, is by far the most challenging.
Well, 2 things happen here, Tom. He loses the count. The deficit now goes to 13 pins. He loses the advantage of the strike in the 7th frame and a potentially open frame coming up. The 3, 9, 10. Very, very difficult spare. And he brings it back. That's great.
Maybe for the younger players, but when you've been around as long as Bill Heflin has, he could probably do it blindfolded.
That was an absolutely fantastic shot. There you see the score. It tells the tale. 13 pins down is Bill Heflin. Also, the advantage of the strike in the 7th frame could be potentially 23 pins.
Heflin in his 6 games yesterday, a 223 plus average. And he's going to need every bit of that against Lothian today. Oh, a little help, Dave. A little help on a Sunday morning.
That's what we call the scout, the messenger pin. Let's see if we can pick it up here. The head pin center your screen again is going to go to the wall. See it go to the right wall. Now come across. 7 pin. I got your number. Get out of here.
Well, the recipient of luck, he'll take it any time. You need all good luck against this man, Greg Lothian.
Get in here!
Oh, boy. He's hot today.
You know, Greg came through our youth leagues and was a very avid bowler in the travel league with the bowling proprietors. And, you know, there's something interesting happening in the state of Ohio right now. We're leading a drive to see that bowling is recognized as a high school letter sport. If there's anyone interested that would like to help us accomplish this, they can contact our local BPA center or Tom Murphy at Stones Lanes. We'd love to see it recognized in the schools.
Well, you know, we've seen such great bowling the past 12 weeks on the TV King. I think people get the opportunity to see that it's worthy of being a letter sport.
It certainly is.
Absolutely fantastic power. You want to see it? Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. The head pin and the 5 pin. Watch him go to the left of the screen, come across. That's the head pin. Hacksaw the 10 out of there. A triple gives him a 23 pin advantage with a double working. It's going to be tough for Bill Heflin.
Bill throws his arms up saying, where did I go wrong on that one?
That ball went light. Bill is not really comfortable on the pair right now. He's searching, not the normal Bill Heflin that keeps plugging the 1-2 pocket day in, day out. Tough spare, the 3-7, and he just misses it by an inch. But quite frankly, Tommy, without a strike in the 9th frame, the deficit that Greg Lothian is now set up in his favor would have been unobtainable. This match, for all intents and purposes, belongs to Greg Lothian.
So he will go on to meet Butch Temke. The winner of that match will go on to meet Steve Miner, who qualified with a 14-12 yesterday. Well, Mr. Heflin is closing the 86 TV King for him, in style at least. Big Bill always gives us excitement, and when you think, Dave, of the adversity he's been through, the bypass surgery and just bowling, it's kind of encouraging to see something like that.
Bill Heflin, his pride, wants to strike out. It's not going to make any difference in the match because Greg Lothian is already the winner. But Bill Heflin is somebody that everyone in this city ought to respect. He's had physical problems down through the years. He has remained one of the most consistent, well-liked, and well-schooled bowlers I have ever seen.
You know, yesterday here in qualifying, Bill rolled a 220 on the TV pair that he's on today, and he also averaged 223 for the 6 games that he did bowl yesterday.
So it's just up to Lothian to keep it on the lanes, I guess, and he's going to go on to meet Butch Temke. Temke yesterday rolled a 1389, and he was strong on these pair also. 278 for Mr. Temke in his 1389 total. Were rolled on the 9 and 10 pair.
With a spare and a strike here, Greg Lothian can finish with a very nice 238 game.
It's not a bad way to start when you're heading toward the king of the hill for the year, Dave. Heflin already out at 204. It's just up to Lothian. So the last ball.
You know, our first game average is holding steady at 210. I'd like to see what's going to happen our next game now.
So, Greg Lothian shakes hands with Bill Heflin, and he is our first winner today. But I'll tell you what, there's still a lot more bowling on Hudepohl's TV King of Bowling. Greg Lothian goes on to meet Butch Temke as you see the winning form of Lothian as he rolls a 238 to 204 win over Bill Heflin in game number 1. We'll be back after this.